Hi, folks. There are many things to talk about. Since last time, a couple of days ago, I've read a lot of what's going on and what happened actually last week regarding to Ukraine scenario, the peace efforts from the Chinese, not only the Chinese, also the Vatican, still on this. It is on this process. Um there are efforts for dialogue and peace from one side. From the other side, there is this disruptive movement from people like Victoria Nuland, Boris Johnson, um, Borrell from the European Union. So the Wall Street Journal said that the Chinese peace plan from this special envoy from Beijing to Europe wants to set peace immediately and to grant the Russians the territories they have so far in their control. That would mean these four oblasts from the East Ukraine would stay Russians, as um, Crimea, and from there on they would uh, deal a longer peace plan based on those 12 points that the Chinese have presented a couple of months ago. Um, so the Chinese envoy was in Kiev in the beginning of the month, and in the meantime, he was in Poland. I think he was in France, as far as I remember. And he was received by Lavrov last Friday. Lavrov said there are serious obstacles to that peace plan, but that he thanks the initiative and he will do everything he can to ensure that they can make a peace deal with Ukrainians when the time is come. So this is something. It's not nothing. By the other side, Vatican, Cardinal Suppi, this is the leader, the chef of the bishops of Italy, a very high ranked official of the Vatican in the diplomatic field. This is a very important nomination by the Pope himself to travel to Kiev, and we don't know more about this. Probably also to talk with the Russians, much probably. So there are these initiatives from China, from the Vatican, from the Brazilians to seek peace at least. In the other side, Boris Johnson, ex-prime minister of Great Britain's ex-prime minister, traveled to Dallas, Texas last week for a conference of the Republicans about sending more weapons to Ukraine. He met with George Bush, among others, and he is more and more seen as actually the true architect of the pro Ukraine policy between the United Kingdom and the United States, with these travels to sell more weapons and to support more to Zelensky regime. So actually, he was, when he was prime minister, he was 5 times in Ukraine. Thing that I didn't know. I thought it was only 3 times, but it was 5 times. There's no such other allied from the Great Britain who was visited so much as Ukraine. Normally, you would think that a prime minister from Great Britain, the United Kingdom, would visit Saudi Arabia or the United States, Canada. People, countries, allied countries, or from the Commonwealth to do partnerships and economy, infrastructures, whatever. No. Everything that this Johnson did was to heaten the war in Ukraine. That it was a priority of his last month in cabinet before he was demitted. And now he is doing this public affairs committee, traveling around. I don't know even if that is legal in the British law for ex-prime ministers. They have a period that they cannot do nothing public. I don't know. He was in cabinet not even 1 year ago, and he's still now doing things in name of his country regarding a war and weapons and all this stuff. Very, very not positive outlook from this ex-prime minister. By the other side, Victoria Nuland is one of the other agents that is very known from the public, the U.S. Undersecretary of State for Political Affairs. She is now, she traveled last week to the Kiev Security Forum to deepen the link between secret services and cybersecurity between NATO and Kiev. I don't know even if she can talk about on behalf of NATO. She is an U.S. official, and I think she is using here the very, very gray areas in the competences that she has, because she said that Russia in Kiev last week, she said that Russia has to withdraw from Ukraine. She can tell whatever she wants, but she said that will be more clear in NATO summit in Vilnius. We will be with an eye on this meeting from NATO in Vilnius, because it will show us what is the plans from NATO. That will be very, very important. If they start realizing that this is not the way to escalate this war, or if they want really to escalate this to a very, very, very dangerous situation. From the other, what regards to the multipolar world, there were important things last week. There was the Eurasian Economic Union meeting with a lot of delegates from these 5 countries that are very important in the ex-Soviet area. And this meeting was opened by President Putin from Russia, and it has a teleconference phone call from President Xi Jinping, which is not even part of this group, but is a partner, as all these infrastructures they are doing in this scenario from Asia, Eurasia, a lot of railways, roads, ports, infrastructures from the Chinese in the Belt and Road Initiative, the BRICS, the Eurasian Economic Union, the OPEC Plus, the CSTO in defense, or the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. There are a lot of things happening. There is one video that I will put here down below for the ones that want to really understand what is happening right now. They have to understand a little bit of economics. Yeah, I don't know. I am not an expert in economics, neither on military field, but I like to see the outcome of all this together, because they are interrelated and connected, and make the right overview of what they together mean. And this video is regards to the last crisis here in Europe and in the United States from the dollar system in 2007, 2008. And this from Sergey Glazyev on the occasion of the 100th anniversary of Lyndon LaRouche. This video is a very well summary at what point are we right now. 15 years ago, the Western politicians have the occasion to connect their debts to the physical economy, and they didn't do that. They instead betted on more debt, and with that now we have a gigantic unpayable debt of $1 quadrillion of derivatives and all these financial products they invented, that the bank invented, and now they are trying to recover this with the raising of interest rates by the Fed, by the European Central Bank, and we cannot leave the problem of the inflation and the disindustrialization. That's why I think they are now trying to bet and double down all the bets on this war against Russia, because Russia is a very large territory with a lot of natural resources that these people think that without a central power in Russia, they can take that over to pay their bills with the war, in the aftermath of a war, with the bounty. This is very serious. This is a very earnest times we are living in, that I see very clearly. It has a root here in the West, the debt and the bankers and the central banks, and the last crisis 15 years ago that never was solved, not cleared out. And so they are accumulate and piled up a lot of debt that we, the Europeans and the Americans, will now have to pay. We are right now in war economy mode here in Europe. They are betting everything in the industry of weapons, ammunition, all this to send to Ukraine. We are already in a war with Russia, and this is very, very concerning for us, for our sons. And right now, the hope are these initiatives for peace, and let's see where it goes, because there are other things developing that I wanted to talk with you guys. For example, the situation in Germany is far worse than we all supposed. There is this article by Bloomberg last week. We will have to talk in one chapter about it all alone. And the 100th anniversary of Henry Kissinger, this interview he gave to The Economist 2 weeks ago or so, and then a very interesting article, extensive article in the Strategic Culture magazine that talks about his plans from that interview on the Economist. Yeah, let's see when I'll come here. Situation is this. Let's see what brings us this next week, to see if there is any advances towards peace, or if we still be on this very dangerous course to a major war. So I will come here back soon. Stay tuned. See you soon.